All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, the Highguy Jacobs, and I'd like to give you a big welcome to the podcast, The Highguy's Joints of You. Today's episode, we have featured the one and only friend of mine that I've had now for, well, it could be a solid 6-7 months, something like that. We're going on, BadBoy. I don't remember exactly. His name is Anthony. I know him as BadBoy from one of my favorite games, DLS, called Doomsday Last Survivor. It's a mobile, real-time strategy game. If you haven't ever tried it yet, I suggest giving it a shot. But first and foremost, I do want to give you a big welcome. Thanks for joining me here, BadBoy. Say hello to the people.
So what's up?
So first and foremost, Anthony, let me know here a little bit about you. Why don't you tell the people where you come from, what you do, what's your relationship with cannabis, and then we can kind of go on from there. Give us a little bit of shout out from who you are.
My name's Anthony. I'm from Oklahoma City. I'm a plumber. I make the good money. Don't worry. But other than that, my relationship with cannabis is pretty faithful.
You've been faithful to the strain.
Yeah.
I can appreciate
For
that.
sure.
How long have you been a user for?
As long as I can remember.
Well, marijuana does affect the memory, so I can see why that would be a case. So on today's episode, my friend, we're going to be talking a little bit about the legal system, a little bit about our brushes with the legal system. I've had a couple myself that I always like to talk about, and it's going to be a little bit different because I live in Canada and you live in the United States, so both of our countries have a massively different opinion of cannabis, especially in the legal system. So first and foremost, have you ever had any run-ins with the police when it comes to cannabis?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? They probably don't have a good opinion of you then.
No, they don't. They don't like it. Especially when I got caught.
What did you get caught doing, if you don't mind me asking?
Smoking it in school. But
Yeah.
I had a bunch of little $10 baggies inside my jacket.
Yeah.
Okay, so funny shit. It was in the winter. You remember those hoodies that it's real big puffy black ones? Then they had the fur on the top
Sure.
right here. And they had the little pocket right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had like, I don't know, 3 little $10 baggies in there and some bunk ass weed, to be honest with you. But I thought it was some great shit, back in the day. Anyways,
Hold on. Time out. It sounds like you're more pissed off that you got nailed with shit weed. It's not that you got nailed for weed. It's just that you got nailed with shit weed. Fuck, I don't care if they catch me if I got good shit with me, because then I get known for someone who's got good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, they pretty much they caught me smoking weed. Me and a couple of my buddies over there around the gymnasium. Down there's like a little underpass. You go into the locker room.
Yeah.
Nobody ever uses it until the games are there. So we always go over there, and that's where all the stoners hang out. So that's where I was. And we all got caught, and I took off running, and they tackled me to the gate. And yeah.
So was that
Just a little bit of.
Was that like cops in your school?
So our school had off-duty cops, like real life cops, off-duty. So they're instantly you going to jail. It doesn't matter, like, you know what I mean.
See, there
was 3 of them.
That's a huge difference between the United States and Canada. Like, in my entire career, in my entire education career, I've never once dealt with cops inside the school. Never seen them. Like, you don't see them ever. They're not patrolling hallways. There's like never, because we don't have that same issue that you guys have with guns and stuff. Hey, which is obviously it's interesting to kind of segue the conversation there, but to have cops in the school, that makes it even worse. Cause like you said, as soon as you get nailed, it's not just like call your parents and shake your fingers and stuff. It's like instantly get the police involved and legality and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Jesus.
Well, they got me with possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute on school grounds within 500 foot of a school, 500 foot of a church, 500 foot of a park, and like all kind of shit. Yeah, because everything was right around it. Everything. I mean, they didn't give me just a little slap on the hand. They wanted to make a fucking
Statement.
Yeah, yeah, they wanted to make a statement, and it ended up being me. And yeah, it sucked.
So what was the long term effects, if you don't mind me asking? Like, did you end up getting pinched for it, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. I ended up having to do like this 6 month program, and then like a juvenile camp, and then after that, I got out successfully. I didn't get in no trouble. Then I went to Job Corps and went there for like it's a trade school,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I went there for like for welding. And got out, did that for a while, but yeah, that's in the end of the story was where I got in trouble was I only had to successfully complete that Job Corps. So
Jesus. That's so nuts for
yeah,
a kid to get nailed with that kind of stuff. Which is funny because, like, my first run in with weed that I can remember was literally getting pulled over. Well, not pulled over, but like me and my buddies were, walking down the side of the road just smoking a joint between us. Cops pull us over, or cops pull up to us type thing and stamp our joint out. You know what I mean? Like, we don't even get frisked for more. We don't even get, like, questioned or anything. It's just like, hey, you can't do that. Put it down and stamp it out. But I've heard people in the United States, for example, going, like, having major issues just for having a roach on them.
yeah,
You
yeah, for
know,
sure.
let
That's how it is
alone
down here.
let alone 3 baggies with, the quote unquote intent to sell. Jesus.
Yeah, they got me pretty good. Yeah, and one of the guys that got caught. And this is the funny thing about it. It's like the one of the guys was my best friend.
Mhm.
We was best fucking friends. And and I took off running one way, he took off running the other way, and the cop just tripped that dude, and he was instantly cuffed up. You know what I mean? He was so stoned, he run right into the cop. Like, you're a dumbass. Like, hey, run away, dummy.
Yeah, that's right. It's not
And
football. You're not trying to go through.
yeah, and then he went around telling everybody in the school that I snitched on him. I'm
Oh,
like, dude, you
come
fucking fell
on.
into the cop, bro. Like, come on, like,
It looks like you were
so I
giving
would
him
have
a
got
hug.
away.
No shit.
Yeah, the fuck.
It just looks like you were jumping into their arms. Son of a
You're
bitch.
right, literally.
That's the last kid I'm
Yeah,
inviting to the
it's pretty
party.
great. It's pretty funny. But he no longer is my best friend, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just
The moment you turn on me like that and try to tell me I'm a snitch, man, snitches get stitches, man. Don't fucking bring that bad
right.
karma on me.
Shit. But yeah,
So how old were you when that happened, if you don't mind me asking?
when that happened, it was right after my dad passed away. It was like 16, 15, 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's right when shit actually gets started, man. I'm glad they didn't actually, really throw the book at you. I've heard some really horrendous stories from individuals. But that's half the reason why I do this podcast. You know what I mean? Is, have to hear about other people's experiences and have to be able to teach, people about cannabis and things like that.
Yeah. That ain't no joke, especially when you're in school grounds. Like,
That's true.
and don't do that. You know what I mean? They made a statement. It was with me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you're
no
not going to
doubt.
do that. No, in my school, period.
Man, that's crazy. I blame a lot of my non issues with the police, and consider this as quote unquote racist as you want. I understand my white privilege. Okay, like, I understand that there is a huge portion of the reason why I'm standing here. It has to do with the fact that I'm a white Anglo-Saxon, North American type thing. Protestant. Kind of right in the middle of the line of everything else. Because I was pulled over once driving. I remember I was driving from Saskatoon to Red Deer. So from one city to the other in Saskatchewan, into Alberta. And I was just coming back from visiting my wife. At the time, she was my fiance. I had just asked her to marry me. I just had proposed to her. So brand new fiance. And I'm driving back. It's about 10:30 in the evening. I'm tired as balls, right? Now, don't get me wrong. At the time, I had made some obviously bad decisions by smoking and driving at the same time. Not that I'm saying that's
Right.
right to do. But at the time, I was like, I'm tired. I need to pull over to the side of the road. So I pulled over to the side of the road in an enclave, turned the car off, right? Figured I'll close my eyes for an hour or something like that, get back on the road, and I'll start driving again, no problem. Half an hour after I turn my car off and close my eyes and go to sleep, I'm woken with a light through the window and a rap, rap, rap on the side window. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there trying to wake up, eyes all kind of crusted over, looking over, roll the window down a little bit. The cop goes, "Good morning. Is that a marijuana pipe on your front seat?" And I'm half cracked my eyes. I look up at him and I look down, and he's got his flashlight right on my bong, and I had a little freaking table bong sitting right on my seat beside me because my dumb ass didn't put that shit away, not thinking anything to do about being woken up by the police, right? And at the time, to make it even worse, compounded, I didn't have, I technically didn't have my license. It was not valid. So, and in Saskatchewan, if you don't have your license, because everything's done through the government, it's like socialized kind of. You don't have registration on your vehicle and you don't have insurance. So basically, I had nothing. I'm pulled over on the side of the road with pot and a bong on my front seat. This cop pulls me over. He says, and I'm like, fuck. So instantly, I get pulled out, cuffed, put in the back of this cop car. And I sit there as I watch him literally peel his car apart, taking panels off, looking through the back bumper, looking through underneath where the tire and stuff is, peeling this car apart, looking for drugs. Just finds my little, I think I had like 2 grams left and a little bong, like just my own personal stash. And it was funny because in the entire time after he comes back to my car, left it pretty much in shambles, comes back to the cop car while I'm in the back, and he starts grilling me. Well, where did you get this from? Who are you? Where do you get your stuff from? Why are you on this road? And blah, blah, blah. I answered his questions as best I could. I'm just some guy, literally just, went to propose to my wife. I'm on my way back to town. I borrowed this car because it was an emergency, right? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, well, why don't you have a license? I'm like, what do you mean I don't have a license? Just playing off that I didn't have a license at the time. I knew it wasn't valid, right? I knew it wasn't valid.
Right.
Because I hadn't paid for it at the time. I was broke as shit. Anyway, long story short, it turns out that the road that I pulled over on is one of the busiest roads in Saskatchewan in the province that I live in for drug dealers. And they do exactly what I did, where they, instead of driving to a hotel and staying at a hotel where all of a sudden other drugs are in the car in the parking lot, they'll pull over to the side of the road, have a sleep, and continue driving. So he thought he was going to pull up on this vehicle and get a big drug bust. All he gets is my dumb ass driving home. And of course, I'm in a different province than my home province at the time. And luckily enough, both of those police forces don't talk. So he didn't want to do the paperwork on me. So he basically, after all of this, he goes, I can take you to jail. I could impound your car. I could give you a $3,000 fine right now. I could take you in for 30 days, impound your car for a month, and all this kind of stuff. And I went, or? And he goes, or you can get in your car, you can drive home right now, renew your license tomorrow, and, make sure this never happens again. And I went, I'll take or. Give me that opportunity right now. And I drove home. And I'll tell you, first was that ever the worst wake up and yet the best wake up ever, because I didn't need a coffee after that. Your heart is pumping when that happens.
Right.
But second, it's one of those things where I sit back and realize my white privilege got me through. Had I been indigenous, right, of the indigenous communities here in Canada, it probably would not have been the same as what it was for me. Because unfortunately, just like policing in the United States has its racist streaks, policing in Canada very much also has its racist streaks. We've got lots of history with, the mistreatment of minorities and things like that. So
right.
I absolutely understand my white privilege exists, and I am thankful that it's never been a bad situation for me on that. But I cannot imagine if it had been any other side.
Yeah, no. If it would have been me, I would have been straight in jail.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it could have been different for any other person, and I'm not saying anything else, other than the fact that I'm just lucky it didn't get worse for me.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on a second.
You're lucky you're white.
My little daughter showed up here. Just give me 1 second, folks.
I'm gonna put them right around the new season.
That's fine. I'm recording a podcast, sweetheart, so you gotta go away, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye. I love you.
I too.
Oh, my sweetheart. My littlest sweetheart. She's playing Fortnite. Excited about that.
Oh yeah, they always are about them little games. Huh? You know, Roblox is the new thing. You know,
My kid was playing
no.
Roblox all day today, man. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Like I'm like I tried playing that myself, and I'm like it's just so fast. Like there's just so many different to choose from. I tried to play Fortnite. They tried to get me to play Fortnite because they like the game, and I don't mind playing with them. Right, it's fun. But Fortnite has so many damn game modes. It's got 1,000 different game modes. How the fuck do I know which ones I want to play and which ones I don't want to play? Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Like they got so many new things. Here, Dad, let's play this one. I just want to kill people. Can we just do that?
Yeah.
just,
Let me go back to zombies.
let's just go back to kill people. Can we do that? I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump up. Nobody wants to travel just up. I want to go kill people. Let me just drop in and kill people.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Can we play build?"
like-
No, I don't want to play build. It's not instant like fortresses here. That's not how this game works.
You know what game? You know what game I got into pretty good like not too long ago?
What?
PUBG.
Man,
I got into it pretty hard.
I used to play that game so much.
Yeah, I used to play it all the time, bro.
Oh, I loved PUBG, dog.
I'll up in the microphone and everything. I'll be like, hey, yeah,
nice fat blunt and some PUBG. Oh, that was a good day.
Oh yeah,
that was a good time. So, what are you tooting on right now? You said you stopped at the weed store.
what is that? I don't even know. I don't even know what it is. Hang on, let me go look.
And with that, we are now looking at a chair that is subsequently the same color as a wall, which is really weird. It's literally like he just pulled the chair out of the wall. With this.
How dare.
It's the exact same chair. Like, do you literally live in the color beige?
No. No.
Your chair's beige, your wall's beige.
Yeah.
I think Mel's even wearing a beige. What is that?
Tiramisu cookie.
Tiramisu cookies. Oh, that's nice. Tiramisu cookies, indica. That's still gonna be probably crossed with the Girl Scout cookie strain. Most cookies are crossed with the Girl Scout cookie strain, which is ironic because my wife just went out and got us some stuff too. And she got us pink cookies and ice cream cake. So,
nice.
Yeah, so I got myself a nice little ounce.
How much that cost you?
And some gummies. The ounce, I think, was like $70.
Oh, nice. We get our ounces for 50 down here.
Yeah, but 50 American is about 70 Canadian. So it's, it's about the same. That damn American Canadian bill gets me every fucking time, man.
Don't make no sense. None of it does.
No, the economy is a lie. It's all a sham. Don't even get me started.
My buddy's in Vietnam right now, you know. He went to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually, what's crazy is that he works for Papa John's. He's like a GM. So he went out to Vietnam with like $500, and he's been down there for like 2 months straight, and still has money on his, and still had all the money he needed to come back.
A buddy of mine basically sold everything that he has and moved to Vietnam, and he lives with his wife now in Vietnam, and he works remotely, and he says it's amazing.
Yeah, it makes paint. Yeah. He don't have to don't struggle at all.
He's come out to me and asked me to move out there a couple of times, and I've thought about it, but like, I can't deal with the weather, man. It's too hot.
Yeah.
Too hot, too humid. I need me some cold. I like Canada's cold.
Right.
To a degree. I'm not insane. I don't like it when it's minus 40, but I like it when it's like minus 10, minus 15.
Yeah.
Preem for me.
So you get a lot of high snows down there, huh?
Pardon?
Y'all get a lot of big snows down there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, many times, especially last year, for example, we got dumped on and like 2, 3, 4 feet of snow. Like, kind of all at once. Which really sucks because it slows things down. But our next door neighbor's got a grader, so he comes out and cleans our yard and stuff. It's nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's nice.
Well, we don't get that much down here. We get like, if we get like 6 inches, I mean, everybody's acting like hooligans over here. Like, sliding into poles, and I'm like, oh my god, what do y'all do? I mean, did you just forget how to drive or
Yeah,
what? Like,
yeah. I mean, it's
it
the same
rains and
thing.
everybody goes crazy.
It's the same thing. As soon as the snow hits the ground, people like forget how to do anything. I don't get it.
Yeah,
It's like gas is still on the right, brake is still on the left, clutch is still on the far left. It hasn't changed.
right.
E-brake doesn't
Come on,
exist.
let's get it together.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
This is not fucking what is that horror movie? Final Destination. The movie that ruined a generation.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever drive beside one of those big cart or one of those big log hauling. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever do it again. Speed up. Get past them. So you were 16 when you got nailed, hey? Jesus. And you're how old now?
I'm 35.
35. So you've been smoking for well over 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years of cannabis experience. Are you nuts? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I'm faithful to her. Shit, she ain't never done me wrong.
That's right. You gotta hold her close. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure you take care of her, because she's gonna take care of you.
Right.
Do you have any cannabis tattoos?
No, I do not. I don't have nothing in cannabis.
I gotta get a cannabis tattoo, man.
Yeah, I need to too. A lot of people has it.
Well, my wife has one. She's got one on her arm. It's the chemical makeup, like the chemical, like the scientific drawing of it. She's got it on her arm, and it's stick and poke, which I thought was really cool. A friend of ours does stick and poke tattoos, so it's one that she gets worked up kind of anytime that she goes to visit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That seems painful. Stick and poke.
Well, I heard it's not as painful as machines. It's supposedly not as painful, but they take
really?
long. Yeah. At least that's what I heard. I could be totally wrong. People will roast me in the comments if they are. But I've heard by many that it hurts less to do stick and poke. It just takes a lot longer.
Right. And it does. Well, I can probably understand that, because the machines really put a lot of trauma to your skin.
Oh, sure.
A lot of trauma.
Sure.
You know, and then you got major swelling after a good size tattoo's done. I mean,
Well, also depending on the actual artist, right? How heavy their hand is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the machines don't do you no justice. Then, they even came out with a new kind of gun where it ain't just like, now it's like a little rotator. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, rotary is what they call it or something.
Really?
Ought to be better on the skin, less trauma, but I always thought the same thing. Like, what if he has a heavy hand, like, he's gonna hamburger meat my shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I've seen my wife's got one on the smaller of her back that she's not happy about, because the guy was pretty heavy-handed on it. And it's deep and raised.
Yeah.
And now it's all bled because it's so old, but it's one that she wants to get fixed. And I would imagine it's probably the same thing, right? You want to be careful with those types of things.
Right.
But then again, that's why you have to be careful when you pick your tattoo artist.
Exactly. Yeah. Make sure you got the right one.
And don't do it on a night where you're just going in hammered.
I always get like a little one or something. You know what I mean? Just if it's a new artist, I get a little one. Let me see little ones you can do, and then if I like your, how heavy your hand is, everything, all of it, the whole aspect, the whole, getting that one little tattoo. If I enjoy your company, your conversations, because all that has a play in it.
It totally does.
It does.
I think it's something that, especially if people are just thinking about getting tattoos, if you've never got one before, something to think about. This is all stuff to go into account when you're looking for a good tattoo artist. Right? It's all about the experience, you know what I mean? Like, when I went and got tattoos, because I only have the one big one, I spent time looking at the artists and like looking at their work and like looking at all their portfolios around the area. I looked at probably 5 or 6 tattoo artists before I chose the one that I chose. And being stupid, she's a black and white tattooist. I got her to do color instead. Now, was that necessarily a bad thing? No, because she did a great job. But I should have been aware and had her do, what her specialty is, black and white. Oh, excuse me, I got the hiccups. So do you
Some people they like to do cartoons. Some people they like to do, you know, black and white. You know, some people like to do like all kind of different styles. You know, there's a lot of them.
well, and that's the thing is you want to find a tattoo
It's
artist that's going to
cool.
be, specific to what you want to get done in their
Right,
specialty, right?
right.
Yeah.
Anime and stuff like that. A lot of people like to do anime these days.
Have you seen the new one? I've saw this one going around recently where this guy does tattoos that looks like they're like crocheted patches. They look like they're threadwork patches. So it
Really?
looks like so they look like those the threadwork patch you'd put on your hat or your backpack.
Right.
So it looks like those, and they look so real. It's like fantastically real. So people, you walk around, you got this like patch on you. It looks so good. I'm like, I might want something like that so I can walk around with like my own little patch on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That'd be
that'd be
sweet.
pretty cool.
Yeah. And there was like, and they're really good, like really detailed. I've noticed tattoos now. The artists are crazy good.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I like watching that Ink Master shit because that shit's awesome.
Well, the thing I like about it is the fact that like tattoo artists are pushing their own boundaries. So now tattoos, for example, that I've seen are far more realistic than they've ever been. They've got new techniques, so they've got different shading techniques, different shading tools. I don't know how they're doing it, but it looks to me like the quality of tattoos is also increasing.
Yeah, well, not only that, but the quality of work because now you know what I mean. You have like social media apps like Facebook, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and Twitter. If you post on there and you're not gonna get that, you know, they're obviously gonna critique your work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody on that website, you know. So you got that standard too. You got to hold a good standard for yourself because ultimately it's your name. That's what you're trying to build.
100%. And I think, especially with like we could talk about social media forever because I look at it as both the best and the worst thing that humanity has ever invented. Right?
Totally.
I look at it and I go, it's fantastic because of the simple fact, by the way, that drink is not a sponsor. No.
Yeah,
But I look at it and I'm like,
I hate it.
yeah, that's right. I look at it and I'm like, it's the best thing that we've ever done because it brings people together from all over the world and it adds more connectivity in our society than we've ever had in human existence, right? We have more capabilities of connecting with more people from all over the world than we've ever had before. However, we also have more rhyme and reason to divide ourselves because of this. We have easier ways to find only those within our echo chamber. We have easier ways to reaffirm just our own biases without learning new things, without, expanding our brains and things like that. So it's great that we're able to talk with more people and connect, but it sucks that we can still talk with more people and connect.
Yeah, yeah, it could be a good and a bad thing for sure. 1,000%.
Which is weird because I'm starting to get into it now, at the ripe old age of 38. What kind of idiot am I? Should have done this 25 years ago. But it's it's one of those things, right? It's like anything else, though. It's like any other hobby, though. I mean, it's, you look at Doomsday, like what we've been playing, and it's the same type of thing. Anything you throw yourself into, I think you owe it to yourself to do the best that you can.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
That's why I smoke my weed.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at it.
Best she can every time.
I'm pretty good at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I should have a scholarship for smoking weed, bro.
Well, there is a couple of places that I've used as sources for information, and I guess accreditation, if anything you want to call it, is one of those things that you can always look for. I just think it's just interesting that there's so much information, especially now coming out about cannabis, that we had inclinations of before, but not really focused on. So if you look at things like, cancer treatment. Well, we knew that cannabis was good for cancer treatment before, but there have been studies that have recently come out, within the last couple of years, that have really hammered down how helpful cannabis is with cancer and things like that. So,
Right.
So to see the United States, kind of respond federally, with still having it classed as a class 1, though there is whisperings of that changing, really kind of hinders me a little bit because that says that there's no medicinal purpose. Well, fuck yes, there is. There's lots.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's lots. Do you have aches and pains? Smoke weed.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah. Not only smoke weed, but they got lotions. They got everything.
Yeah.
They got medicine. They got.
They got
Be careful.
suppositories, bro. They got suppositories.
Just be careful because that's a whole different kind of high. I'm sure.
That's a body high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Woo! I don't mess with them edibles, man, at all. I don't play
Speaking of
with them.
edibles. Hold on. My wife got some edibles for us to try too. Caramel apple.
Yeah.
Is it caramel or caramel?
I'm a guy.
Caramel?
A lot of people say caramel.
Yeah, is
but
it
I say
caramel or caramel?
I say caramel.
I think I say them both, which doesn't make it better for me. That makes it worse for me, I think.
It's based on who you're around is which one you say.
Yeah, that makes me so much worse. That just makes me a copycat. I don't know. Do I even have my own opinions? Do I even have my own thoughts? I don't even know anymore. Thanks, bad boy. Gonna have to change the name of the podcast now. The High Guy doesn't know shit. That's what we're gonna have to call it now. For fuck's sake.
Oh my god. Boy.
Oh shit. Speaking of, I'm gonna have another dab here.
Yeah, I just don't do them edibles, man. It's a way different high. So check this out. This is about 3 years ago when I first started my own company, right? Well, I guess it was about 4 or 5 years ago. We didn't have no work, so I was taking this job.
Yep.
This guy basically ran off on this customer and didn't do nothing at all, you know, put some boards up, but that was totally wrong. So we ended up having to tear it all down and redo it. But it was in the middle of the fucking winter. And it was out there by, it's about 2 hours away from me. So I wasn't driving back and forth every time. So
No, hell no.
I had the customer pay for an Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't know that he already had like other people there working on his farm that day. And they was with the Airbnb. So he gave us this address for the Airbnb and we go over there. There's already people there. Hell. So we're camping. We're Airbnb and we're like 3 different other couples. It's kind of weird, big ass house, but it was cool. So we all worked that night. It was cold as shit. We come in, and one of the wives has made chili, or like a chili soup.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. It was lovely.
Yeah.
I had about 3, 4, maybe 4 bowls, and then she pops out and was like, "Yeah, y'all's gonna be feeling good tonight. We put some edibles in there."
Oh no.
And I'm telling you, I had the worst experience. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I thought I was dying. I wanted to go to the hospital. I was tripping.
See,
It was scary. Worst thing ever.
Common mistake that happens, right?
I don't like that somebody did that without even confiding in me at all. Like, come on, dude. Like,
that's the problem. If you know you're consuming it, it's a totally different experience than if you get kiboshed into it, right?
Yeah.
Like if you know
I ate 4 bowls, bro.
That's right. Like, why didn't you fucking tell me? I was hungry, fucker.
Yeah, it was cold and that was good.
Look, I did not look. I just came off a 12-hour shift. I did not want to go visit Mars. Okay, that's not what my plan was.
Right. Dude, man, I can't even explain it. It was almost like you were shackled down.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You shackled down, you couldn't do it. Have you ever seen what is that movie called? Where she rubs the cup, you know what I mean? And then that guy goes in hypnotized.
The fuck are you watching?
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. I don't know what the movie is.
Kind of porn are you watching?
It's like that. I don't know what the hell is it. I don't know the name of it, but it's a pretty good movie though. Yeah. You should watch it. But that's how I felt. But basically, that's how I felt.
That reminds me of salvia. You ever done salvia?
No, I have not.
I remember doing salvia because, when I was younger, probably I would have been 16 or 17, something like that. I was living with a friend of mine. I was renting a room from him and his dad. and his dad had up and just left us, so we pretty much had overrun of this house for like 6 months. So it was like 216. Yeah, it was nuts, man. We were like 16, 17 years old, and just had run of this house, and we were throwing parties every night. We had a party run for like a week straight. It was like a party nonstop at our house. You know, we ended up like Hawaiian hotboxing that house. Like not just the bathroom, but like the whole house. We were opening up every single hot water that we could in the house, making it as steamy as we could, getting fog machines. Like it was crazy. We were throwing parties all the time, right? And this one time, because I used to work at a head shop, we had access to salvia, so we did these huge fucking salvia hits. And I remember this salvia trip because it was only about 7.5 minutes, but it was the most obscured 7.5 minutes of my life. I couldn't stop laughing, but I was in a video game where I had a health bar, or not a health bar, an air bar. So I could see an air bar in my brain. Every time I laughed, the air bar went down. So I would have to stop laughing to breathe in to get more air, but I couldn't stop laughing. So in my head, it looks like I'm laughing my head off, having a great time. But in reality, in my brain, I'm going crazy. Like, I'm losing the game. I'm going to die. I can't. It was, and I couldn't move. I was stuck in the couch. So it was the most obscure 6.5, 7 minutes of my life. I'll never do that again. But I will say it was eye-opening in the sense that, like, I think those type of surreal experiences people need to do more often. It was still fun. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it was still fun. I write it down to an experience that I suggest people go out and try.
But you would never do it again.
No, but I'll never do it again. Don't get me wrong. It's like, but I look at it the same way as I do everything else, right? I look at it the same way as I've tried. Because I've tried a lot of drugs. And I'm not going to be the first one to say, don't go out and do it because I've done it before. So that's the most hypocritical thing I could say is don't go out and do the things that I've done myself.
Right.
Right? Even when it comes to my own kids, when they're ready to smoke weed or when they're ready to try to experience those types of things, I would much prefer if they came to me first.
Yeah.
Right? So that I can help them with that. Because I know they're going to do it anyway. Let's not deny that. They're not, it's not like they're going to stop doing it just because I tell them not to. Because I didn't when my parents told me not to.
No, actually, it went a little bit harder.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? So in the same breath, when they're ready to try it, I want them to come to me first. Same understanding.
Right.
But it's the way I same look at everything else. I've done cocaine before. Guess what I'm never going to do again? Cocaine. You know why? It wasn't fun for me. I didn't enjoy it. But am I going to say to everybody, don't go out and try it at least once?
Oh, yeah.
Try it once. What's the harm? What's the worst? what's the worst case that can happen from experimenting? I mean, life is an experience. I think there's a lot of things that I've done. MDMA, I've done ecstasy. I've done mushrooms. Is it risk-free? No. There's always risks.
Yeah. You might get your souls taken.
Look, there is yet to be...
There's some things you try and you just love so much you can never go back. I mean...
That's true.
And it's just that one time.
Uh-huh. And I do not discredit people who suffer from addiction. Okay? I totally understand. But that same premise, that same logic can be experienced with absolutely anything. You look at video games, people can get addicted to video games. People get addicted to coffee. People get addicted to sugar. We talk all about these types of things that we're societally okay with being addicted to. Gesundheit. These are all things that we're societally okay with being addicted to. But we draw lines at other things. Again, I'm not out there saying go out and do drugs. But I am saying understand that every drug that we have in our life, even something as simple as Tylenol, which doctors push everywhere, has their risks. If you have a Tylenol extra strength every day for, 10 years, your liver is going to have problems. Your kidneys are going to have problems. There's no risk-free element to it. However, I also feel if my kids come to me and say, hey, Dad, let's say they're 16, 17 years old, around the same age I was when I was experimenting with drugs, right? If he comes to me and says, hey, Dad, I want to try ecstasy. I've got a friend of mine who's been pressuring me to try ecstasy. If I say no, I'm going to push him into a situation where he's going to go with his friend. He's going to try it anyway.
Yeah.
I would much rather him come to me so that I can at least be the anchor for him to have a good experience.
Absolutely.
Right? Because the
And
worst
you want to
thing...
be able to watch over him. Like, I'd much rather, to me, it'd be like, okay, if my kid comes over to me and tells me, hey, Dad, we did this with his dad. Well, and I talked to his dad, and his dad's like, hey, I want them to be here safe with me. So if that's what it takes, then that's what they're going to do. You know, I wouldn't be so mad. I wouldn't be so mad because somebody else is looking out for my kid, you know, or whatever, you know, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it either. I think
it's a situation, and it's, don't get me wrong, it's a very controversial opinion to have.
Yeah,
but that's,
for sure.
That's
Absolutely.
also why I love this podcast, because at the end of the day, it allows me an ability to show people that there is capabilities beyond the stigmas that we create, right? Like even when it comes to cannabis users, right? The amount of people that create bad imagery for simple cannabis users, for simple, people who enjoy a doobie by themselves or a doobie with friends or things like that, is insurmountable to the actual influence of it. And I truly believe most of the other drugs that we actually villainize aren't nearly as there's a lot of research coming out now talking about the benefits of DMT or other hallucinogens, right? Magic mushrooms. There's a whole bunch of psychotherapeutic research coming out about people kicking addictions after assisted therapy sessions with magic mushrooms. So they've been addicted to smoking forever, right? 25 years. They go through one session on like one therapy assisted magic mushrooms psilocybin session, and they kick smoking with no problem. So there's tons of these things where we're starting to see a lot of different ramifications inside what we used to villainize so much. Now, again, with a grain of salt, I'm not sitting there saying that cocaine is totally harmless and go out and, cover yourself in white powder every day. But I'm also saying I think the current understanding of what we have when it comes to most drugs is really skewed by the fear mongering that we've done so well in our society.
Right.
Like I'm happy I've sampled drugs. I know which ones I've done before. I know which ones I still would like to try. Have you ever done not peyote, DMT, ayahuasca?
No, never done that.
Well, I have done ayahuasca treatments. Like I went and actually sat through an actual ayahuasca ceremony. I didn't get high. But the person beside me was gone. Right? She was gone having conversations with aliens. She was not on this plane of existence. So I want to go out and do that. I want to speak to aliens because I think that there's so much more to experience in this world than the basic physical crap that we're dealt with every day. And unfortunately, society has a little bit of a disagreement on it because somehow people who do drugs are less effective in society. Well, ask that to all the the cocaine users on Wall Street.
Yeah, no shit.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, straight up.
The amount of white, the amount of white privileged people doing coke up in the high towers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I can guarantee you, Donald Trump probably snorts coke.
No, I was just about to say that. You see, they put it on Fox one time when he was on there. He was like,
You can't tell me that guy wasn't doing that at Epstein's parties. You know what I mean? Like he was there.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you know it today, that's
Then
Let's go.
then you should know. Go out and read because there's tons to know. You know, you want to know. You should go out and know.
Yeah.
So let me
But
ask you a
yeah,
question. So you've been smoking weed now for a long time, but you live in the United States where they have a different kind of opinion of it. Is the state that you're living in one that's legal? Like, is it it's federally legal in your state, right?
it's not federally legal. Period.
No, not federally legal. I meant statewide legal, right? It's legal in your state, correct?
To have a medical marijuana card, yeah, medically yes, but not just
It's not for
openly free
recreational.
smoking. No,
So you
it's
have
not recreational.
you have your medicinal card then.
Yes,
Okay.
it's expired, but yes,
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah, I get you, but you have your card too. So inside your state, you can only get it if you have that card.
Yes.
What's the quality, in your opinion? What's the quality of the stuff that you get from there?
Some gas.
Is it pretty good?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, at least you have access to good stuff.
Some of them you can get some. It's like everything. It's like everything. You're gonna have your good and you're gonna have your bad with it. You know, it's like everything. Literally, doesn't matter. I mean, you know, you're gonna have your good weed, you're gonna have your bad weed, and you're gonna have your shake, and then you're gonna have your like $10 ounces, which ain't nothing but a bunch of stems and stuff they just took off the grinder whenever they grinded all the, you know,
Whatever's left.
buds.
Yeah, whatever's left.
Right, that's what you're getting, and you know, get what you pay for. You know, at the end of the day, you get what you pay for. So, I mean, yeah, you guys. When I had my company, I was definitely buying some really good weed by the top dispensary in Oklahoma, and their stuff is some A-grade quality.
That's
They
still,
don't produce.
that's still unfortunate that you need your medical card to get it, though.
Yeah, that sucks.
What about, because I know that it's legal in, I think, 28 states, I think, right now. Where's the closest legal state to you? Do you know?
Denver.
Denver?
Yeah.
Maybe Colorado, right?
Colorado, yeah.
Jesus. So I wonder what, so there's probably even ramifications.
I don't even know. Because I know you can, Denver, Colorado, we went out there.
Yeah, it's,
Me and my,
I'm sure
me
it's
and my
legal in
boss,
Colorado.
we drove around.
Let me just check. Hold on. Keep talking.
We were just driving around out there in Denver, man, and we was like, look, there's a medical marijuana. And then we walked in, they're like, no, it's not medical marijuana. You can buy it right now. And I was like, no shit, we're here to take my money. I want that one right there.
No more than
You know?
adults 21 and older can hold up to 2 ounces of marijuana.
Yeah.
You can have up to 2 ounces in Colorado.
Yeah. On your person at any time.
Yeah, but it's 21 to buy, not anything else. It's 21.
Right, 21 and older, just like cigarettes. They changed. Dude, I can't believe they
Cigarettes are
changed
21 too?
cigarettes. Yeah, 21 cigarettes now.
Woo! That's
They
impressive.
changed it, bro. I was.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I give that credit, man. Anything we can do to
can't
get rid of
believe that
cigarettes. Well, I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
The Canadian government is actually moving to federally ban vape liquids, like flavored vape juices. They're moving to
It's
federally
deadly.
ban it.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because I'm working in an industry right where people vape. So if I was to have vape juices, that would also go hand in hand with the community. You
Yeah,
know, people like to do both.
right.
I mean, even yourself, right? We were talking about it. You like to smoke a cigarette after you smoke a joint, right?
Every time.
Yeah.
Every damn time.
It's called an after-toke smoke. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Well, it was. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but you know.
I'll keep trying. One day I'm gonna make it happen. You know, it's getting every time I do it, it's getting a little bit longer and longer. You know what I mean? It's just more. It's just gonna be one of those deals. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Well,
So it's like
go ahead.
it's gonna happen one day soon. You know, it's just got to take that time and and really keep pushing at it. You're gonna have your slip ups, right?
Of course.
You're gonna fall back on it. You're gonna have something that triggers that addiction. But just the number one step is just to keep moving forward.
It reminds me of because I did the same thing. I quit smoking cigarettes for a long time. I woke up when I was like, I would have been about 21 years old, after a night at being at the bar. And I remember going to the bar with about 4 packs of cigarettes. And I remember waking up the next day with less than half a pack of cigarettes left.
Yeah.
So after smoking or doing whatever with 3.5 packs of cigarettes, I woke up that morning feeling like absolute ass because, of course, drinking at the time too, right? And I spent about an hour coughing up about a baseball-sized amount of black shit. And as soon as that happened, I was like, threw away the half pack of cigarettes, and I was like, I'm done. And I quit smoking for probably 4 or 5 years until I started getting into sales. And then once you get into sales, you realize how stressful that is.
Yeah.
And living on the road and working on the road, and when you're sitting there waiting, there's sometimes nothing better to do than smoke. So I started smoking again. But then my wife wouldn't kiss me.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you, if your girl says, I ain't going to kiss you until you shower and brush your teeth every single time, you're going to quit smoking pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's like, come home from work, shit, you know. I'm not giving you advice. I'm not giving her advice. At least I'm not trying to. Well, I'm looking at the time, man. It's been about 55 minutes. I'll be entirely honest. This has been one heck of a conversation. I cannot believe it's gone by so fast. But
wow, it's been that long?
Yeah, we've been chit-chatting for that long already. It's unbelievable. And I think the funny part about it is that's half of what these conversations are always about, is because, you know, I mention every episode I've got ADHD, so the conversation always segues. But that's what I love about it, because it becomes so natural, right? And that's exactly what I'm trying to do. So first and foremost, I want to say thanks a lot for coming on here and hanging out with me and talking with me and sharing some of your experiences. You know, it's nice to know that other people have gone through some of the same things that I have. But it's also interesting to see the different perspective that we're all treated with. So I appreciate you coming out and telling your story.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, anytime.
Good luck on the endeavors for sure. I hope you can get a lot of followers. And
well, I mean, it's been growing so well. So far so well. I think.
What are you at now?
Pardon?
What are you at now on YouTube?
So YouTube's just under 1,300,
Whoa.
which is pretty crazy. Like, we started back just in in early of this year, April, May, June. So we're only 7 months in. And that type of growth it's been pretty consistent. So if we're going to keep trucking along and any more, subscribers that we can, obviously share the podcast, share the stream. If you're getting this on Spotify or Apple or any of your podcast areas, don't forget to share it with your friends. If you're catching this on YouTube, thanks very much for clicking subscribe. If you haven't already, fill out the notification bell. And then obviously share the channel with your friends as well. The more people we can draw to it, the better. If you haven't yet downloaded and tried Doomsday Last Survivor, go ahead and give it a shot. Although it's still technically a pay-to-win mobile game, it is still fairly accessible to the low spending or free player, and it is free to try. So jump in, give it a shot. I think it's a lot of fun. BadBoy here thinks it's a lot of fun. Anthony thinks it's a lot of fun. We hit that game a lot. In fact, that's how we met. Right. So the community is really good. The graphics are pretty decent. The content is ever changing. It's a decent little game. So if you haven't played it yet, give it a shot. Just don't whale out. Save yourself the money. So
or buy an account. Don't whale out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. There's lots of ways to get started. You can always reach out to me outside of that. Right.
Yeah.
But other than that, folks, thanks very much for tuning in. Again, this has been the Highguy's Joints of View. My name is Chris, the Highguy Jacobs. And I really just want to say thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks a lot for sharing the message. I hope this was a lot of fun for you. It was a lot of fun to make. And watch out next week. We've got a special guest coming in. So hopefully, you'll be able to tune in for that one. And from there, basically, folks, don't forget, love, peace, chicken grease. And until next time, stay lifted.